You're watching CCN, Clarksville Community Network, produced by Goodwin Productions. Powered by CDE Lightband.
Hi, I'm Larry Levin. I'm from Clarksville, Tennessee, and I love toy trains. I've grown up all my life around toy trains. I've been in it since 2000 here at the house, and what you're seeing is what we've created. At age 16, a lady friend helped me by giving me a lawnmower to mow yards, and she also had a friend that had toy trains. His name was Galen Borders. Galen Borders ran a toy train store out in Flora, and when you went down to his basement, it was unbelievable. It gave an image to me that I could never forget. And that's why today I built that same layout in my basement, only I went a little bit larger than he did. Here we are, Texas Special number 21, going as you speak. Trains are 5. This layout is 38 by 17 is the table, 5 levels, and there's probably 450, 500 feet of track. I've never really counted it. We don't really need to know. This is the way we run trains in 2020. This is built on a football field of lumber. It has risers so you can have the track going up and down. It has many, many, many curves. It goes from 072 diameter to 0120. Any type of model train can be ran on this particular layout. I was born in 1944. I was adopted at age 6 weeks old. My daddy was Samuel Orrin Levin. My mother was Mary Dell Levin. When I was 5, they gave me my first train. Over the years, I kind of grew up with a train at Christmas. When I was 11 years old, my dad passed away. When he passed away, my mother had to raise my sister and I. She was also adopted. At age 12, we moved to Flora, Illinois, where I grew up, and my grandma and grandpa raised me because my mother had some health issues. My grandpa said, "Larry boy, you can't afford these trains. You're gonna have to just wait till later in life." See the observation car? They use this car to check the track out. Those people are just along for the ride. And as time went on, I grew up. I threw newspapers, I flipped hamburgers, I mowed many yards. I had a lot of fun as a kid working. I had to work my way through because we didn't have a lot of money. You know, sometimes it's the smallest things that's the most fun. The small engines are just cute to watch. Here we go, here we go. We lived in Denison, Texas, 2 blocks from the MKT Katy Yards. MKT stands for the Missouri, Kansas, Texas Trains. Well, all of my friends and I played on the train yards. We would hop trains going from Denison to Sherman, Texas, and had a lot of fun riding the real rails. One day we got on a train, went all the way to Dallas, and we did not mean to do that. Had to call the parents, come get us. It was sort of a bad scene, but it was fun. We had a lot of fun, and because I grew up near the train yards, I grew to love trains, and that's where the hobby started for me. On the floor in the living room with MKT yards, and now that I'm older, my wife has allowed me the pleasure of building a railroad in my basement.
My name is Leapin Levin. I met my husband in 1992, and ever since I know he loved the train. When he's off day, he been here in the morning to in the dark until I holler him, come on up, eat. He down here the whole time, and sometimes it's too much.
How do you like the little steamer on the turntable, Sue? Isn't that cute? He's going back into the station. I'm in the roundhouse. It's not the station.
He mow yard. He parking a lawnmower in the yard. Lawnmower was running. People walking the street. He said, hey, you want to see my layout? One day I come back from work and the lawnmower's running out there. I don't see him. Then down here, basement, the one train on the top, that's the first our anniversary. I bought him that. So it's over 2 decades. My husband like to use the word 2 decades. Since he loves so much in the train, the first anniversary, I just get him to remember about it. He's not lazy anything related to train, but he lazy to read anything else. And I usually take care of all the building stuff. Ever since there was an accident, I don't feel like doing that. I let him deal with it. I don't feel like I go walk around. So I'm just a bit lazy. I go to work, come home, go to sleep, get up, eat, and then go to sleep. That's how I do. Yeah, I never see all this detail until today. It's a kind of unique.
Sue and I have been together well over 30 years, and we have had a lot of fun together. Between the 2 of us, we have 6 sons, all different vocations of life, and we have a lot of fun traveling together, visiting those kids, and it's just a wonderful, wonderful life.
Yeah, look, I take it, Larry the soul, he loves it. He wanna go back there again. Yeah, that's a train right there. Yeah, I buy him for the 40th anniversary. And I hope I'm worth some money right now.
Today, we're going to actually have 4 trains, and they'll each just be going their own way. We also have the scenery so that the trains are the characters. You run your trains through the scenery and it looks real. All in one location, my basement. That's my little man cave, and I enjoy it quite a bit. You're looking at the control tower with the men going around and round trying to figure out which train's coming next. The turbines are turning to power the layout. And back on the hill, you see Elvis Presley's house. He still lives on my layout. We can stop it up here. And they can just overlook and see the little waterfall that's behind them. And Elvis Presley's house, which is on the top of the layout. And he's still up there. That's where Elvis is at. We caught him. You'll see the helicopter, it's just turning and turning. And as you see this train going through the tunnel, he's gonna disappear and come out somewhere else. It's just a fun time to run trains. Behind me, you're going to see a very good focal point. It's called the roundhouse and the turntable. And a lot of people love to watch the engines come out of the roundhouse, onto the turntable, onto the ready track, hook up to a train, and go somewhere. It's all fictitious. It's all Leapin Larry's loony lines. We just go where you want to go and enjoy passing trains and having fun with friends.
Sometimes he honk the train. When I hear the train honking, I get homesick. I think about my mama when I was a little girl. We live in the country. I hear a train one time. I told Mama, I hear a train. How come I hear it today? I don't hear it any other day. She said, that means we won't have a rain. She said, the cloud coming and the sky is low down, so mean the train sound go farther away. That's why we hear it. One time he honked that. I lay in the bed, I heard that, it making me cry. This is one of my favorite trains, that one.
Okay, they're on the same track. Lit up.
This layout is possible only because of my wife Sue, who built the house that we live in and had a basement put underneath it. And she is the only reason I have this.
I'm looking forward to helping him have his dream back. So we're able to build a house. So I find a plan. I ask the builder, I want a basement under this plan. Because the plan I found, it was no basement. But I like the house. So I told him I wanted this house with the full basement. I told him I want to have a waterfall. That's what he made for me, this right here. And then you go to somewhere around the Model Train Museum, they have a cable car going up the mountain, coming down. I like that. And he said, we cannot find it. So I need to find to do before move out of this house. So most of the Christmas time, because I buy him clearance.
I give all credit to Sue Ann. She's my wife, my best friend, my buddy, and without her, there would be no Leapin Larry's Loony Lives.
I got a lot of work to do on this thing, so I ran into some real glitches.
Hey, that's the second schedule right there.
Pretty?
And I'm glad that he got something he loves very much beside me. I hope I'm in the number one. I hope this is the second, you know. So I'm glad that he got a good hobby and he have a girlfriend. You know, they go together, she lay out. And he say, people like a train. He said, have a good heart. I believe with that.
This is called the engine facilities, and this is where they repair the steam engines, pretend, and then when they're repaired, they can be pulled out onto the turntable, hooked up to a train, and it's just a lot of fun to watch the engines get the water, get the coal, and go. The train that you're seeing in the front of the roundhouse is called a GG1, and the GG1 pulled a passenger train called the Congressional. And the Congressional is what the presidents rode when they went from Washington, D.C. to New York. On my layout, you're going to see at least 6 tunnels, and you're going to hear of the helixes. Now, helixes are a way for a train to go from one level to the next level without having to climb a high mountain. In other words, model trains are not good at negotiating 5 or 6% grades. So the helixes have a 2% grade, which allows you to pull a 30 train car from one level to the next level. And all of the track on this particular layout is connected to each other. And if you have the time, we can run a train from the bottom to the top.
Got a little welder car on here. You can see the guys doing a little work while he's riding. And he's a smoker too. We're gonna get on that turntable and I think we'll all fit. We're supposed to anyway.
We have engines that smoke, we have engines that smoke out the whistle, we have engines that can run with your iPhone. And believe me, it's a changing hobby as it's a changing world.
Now we're going to switch tracks. See what happens here. The turntable was a very useful tool to the railroad. Saved a lot of time turning engines around. Part of the fun of model trains.
We moved in October of '96 into this house, and that's when I started the fever of getting this layout started. It took a while to get started. All hobbies have a little bit of cost to them. My wife has bought quite a few of the trains for me, and I buy and swap.
But look at the street lights. They're lit up for you. Like Motel 6. We left the light on for you.
Yeah, we need to find a building, Motel 6. I know he working on Center 1998. And 2 years he built it. He tore everything up one day. I come home, all the pieces in the basement. I said, what's happened? He said, he don't like the design. He want to redo. So he started 2000.
This particular model railroad was developed by reading books. Lynn Westcott wrote a book on how to build cable work for model railroads. The layout was designed after the Lionel showroom layout in 1949 in the New York showrooms. However, their layout had very few turnouts, which we call switches, to change tracks.
These are called switches. And now they're clear, now they're divergent.
I didn't like the way they had their just loop to loop, so I added turnouts to it, wound up adding another level to it. So basically, I changed their design to a little bit better operation. Command control system that I use on my railroad allows me to turn trains on, the track on, the switches, the routes, everything. It's all done with one remote.
Yeah, Neil Young invented this, the Cab 1, Cab 2 handheld, so that folks can run their trains and walk with them. And his sons, I think, had some type of an illness, and he made it for them to be user-friendly to run their trains. Neil Young's quite a guy.
We needed more power than the 200 amp box did for the home, so we added a 60 amp circuit box in the basement so that we can run the trains with. It takes a lot of power, and we have that power.
Oh, I see what's wrong. Okay. Let's see, let's turn track 7, aux 0, track 4, aux 0. There we go. We had too many trains on it. Passenger cars require a lot of voltage. They eat up the amps, so we're going to separate the power. This time, I'm going to get the other train going.
All my life, I've had a lot of fun with friends and trains, and as I began my career, I started in sales with Belknap Hardware, Louisville, Kentucky, and I bought all their trains. They had a floor with toy trains back in 1966. In fact, I went in debt, and they had to set me up on a monthly payment program to buy the trains. I had started there as an order clerk, and I had wound up as Southern sales manager for Belknap Hardware. I actually had 41 salesmen under me. When they went out of business, I lost my job. So I got into a new job called selling copiers. I worked for EBM in Nashville, the Canon Copier Group. They liked me and they moved me to Clarksville to be the regional manager for them. We had a lot of fun with that. I actually met my wife selling copiers, and she, as a lot of people say, had a lot more smarts than I did. She said, get off the road and work someplace local. So I got into the car business, and Don Jenkins accepted me, and I'm Leapin Larry. I had a lot of fun. 23 years with Don Jenkins, and he is quite a great man to work for. We have a lot of friends in the hobby from Evansville, Nashville, Owensboro, St. Louis, Cincinnati.
Ray and Louise Ward did my scenery. They did all of the scenic details, and they did the artwork. They hid my mistakes. And Ray is, he's a senior citizen like me, and he has to help his wife a little bit more than he used to because they did this about 6, 7, 8 years ago. But they are to get the credit for doing that.
They painted all of the blocks and bricks and plaster molds. Didn't charge me a dime. We did a lot of work together and had a lot of fun.
Did you see my water tower? Yeah, take a picture of that. That was Louise Ward that painted that. Crayola top. We call it the Crayola top water tower. Also, a friend of mine, Owen Fox from Nashville, has been up here quite a few times to check the layout out. And Rich Hain, we call him the owner of the Madisonville shops. He's from Madisonville, Kentucky. He helped me do the wiring. So there's a lot of people involved, many people that's helped me.
In Nashville, there's a good friend of mine, Dr. Jack Fisher, who has a wonderful layout. It's one of the neatest layouts you'll ever see. Dr. Fisher is a plastic surgeon, and he can put light bulbs in places on his layout that you can only imagine.
He had a really good friend. Met every one of them. I enjoyed with them too.
It's a wonderful hobby, great people, good friendships. I'm in the Lionel Collectors Club, which is a nationwide club. I also belong to the TCA, Toy Train Collectors Club, and we're a worldwide community of toy train lovers. In the local area, we have those friends that come over here all the time and run trains with us. We go to their houses and run trains. We have a small group that comes once every month, and then there are those folks that'll come every week. We run the trains quite a bit. We're always buying and swapping. We trade out, and we go to each other's layouts on days during the week and have a lot of fun together. It's a big group of good men, and a few ladies.
Oh, look, get that on camera. That is a rare shot. And this is, of course, the subway, and the doors will open. Get on, and we're ready to go.
Seeing this layout, there's quite a few trains. We have enough track to run 4 trains. We can accommodate 8 trains. They require lubrication. The track requires a lot of cleaning. The houses, dusting. The transformers need to be changed every once in a while. We used a lot of plaster, we built molds, and we painted them to give the mountain look. We have the river look. We have Snow Village, which allows you to have scenic, looks like a real city, but it's all lit up with little lights, and it's just a lot of fun to play with.
Special now boarding.
Attention passengers, the Texas Special is now departing.
And I hear the other train coming to you. Here we come.
And back in 1999, we went to Camera World and we saw Snow Village. And my sons bought it for me, my grandsons bought it for me, and we put together a great big village.
You see what's kind of unique is we have two trains on the same track far enough apart that they don't collide. There's the other little train. I've never seen this before, and I've been building this layout for 23 years. Two trains cross each other on the same line. Rick has inspired me to run different trains, and it's a lot of fun.
One of the stations that I have on the curve part of the layout in the back of the room, it's kind of a fun accessory made in 1950.
But here comes Leapin Larry down the, see?
We have several different towns, but what they are, they just mix together. And we let the trains just go from one setting to another setting, and we've never really given a proper name to it, and that's something I'll start to think about. It would be neat to name the village.
And you see the Starlight Diner? Most everybody that comes over to the layout is hungry, so they want a sandwich. Well, now they have competition with McDonald's, but the Starlight Diner has one feature that the others doesn't. It has a jukebox.
What we have for your review are some trains that we just wanted to show that we don't run. Also, everything that we have on display can run on the layout, so we interchange quite often. We run O-gauge trains, 3-rail scale. I know that third rail's not real, but it makes it a lot simpler to do the wiring. And our trains are Santa Fe El Capitan, we're going to have the Union Pacific, we're going to have the George Bush train down the road, the funeral train, we've got a lot of long freight trains, you name it. Just whatever you might want in a toy train, you'll find it in my man cave.
He say not completed yet. I don't know what has to be done to complete it. I don't know that part. But I know one thing is good. I don't have to hunting no way. I know where he at.
Anybody that wants to see my layout, if they'll just get in contact with me, we'll run trains. But if you're really serious, we can do uncoupling, we can do makeup trains, we can do a run from the bottom level to the middle level, and from the middle level to the upper level. Just depends on what your needs are and your wants are at the time you're here.
I told him his layout, his lover, and I call him his holic, train holic, not alcoholic. I told him train holic.
But long story short, it's a good, clean hobby that people can see what you've done. It's a work in art.
Dispatcher, how's that track look? Are we clear? Over. Dispatcher here, you're lined up and clear inbound. Over. Copy, we have that clear. Out.
For current and exclusive content, subscribe to CDE Lightband, connecting you at the speed of light.